Restless Spirits, a collection of research reports into the spiritual realm, written by Elisa Wilkinson, narrated by Colette Redgrave. Acknowledgements. I wish to thank my husband Eric, to whom I am eternally grateful for him putting up with me disappearing at all hours, be it day or night, to investigate a haunting, wherever it may be. I also thank our daughter Leslie Ann, who was of great assistance to me. The stories I have written in my book were given to me by people who never expected to experience any kind of psychic phenomena whatsoever. When phenomena and strange events involving members of their families, friends, and working environments began occurring, a person's mind is then opened up to the realities of the spirit world, effectively proving that ghosts do exist and are part of our everyday lives, whereby, with the spirit people showing themselves to each individual involved, I would never have had the opportunity to write any of my books. I believe that they have guided me throughout my entire life and have protected me whenever unforeseeable obstacles have been placed in my path. Restless Spirits. Preface. Death is not the end, but the beginning of a new life for each and every one of us. At some point in our lives, we are all going to die, but sadly for some, it strikes a great deal of fear into their minds. However, if you were to stop and think for a while, you will realize that it is not death that you fear, but the way it will approach you. For those people who are suffering and are in intolerable pain from various diseases or through accidents that are debilitating and extremely painful, death is a blessed release, not only for the person involved, but for the family who are enduring their own pain and anguish, yet are powerless to help, and can only watch in sorrow as their loved ones slowly fade and die. I know because my husband and I watched helplessly as our daughter Dawn, who was only 10 years old, struggled through a painful and incapacitating illness for 2 years of her short life until she was taken from us. So, I fully understand what many people are going through. However, once that loved one has passed over into the spirit world, they are made whole again. But more importantly, they are free from the suffering and pain they have had to endure in their earthly life. In the spirit world, they will be given perfect health, and, after being allowed to rest for a period of time, each individual can be reborn again whenever they wish. Introduction. There are many causes for a haunting. With stress being an important factor. On many occasions, a person who is suffering from stress can cause an assortment of phenomenon, such as small objects being moved from one place to another, the sound of footsteps being heard in the home, doors opening and closing when no one is nearby, or lights being switched on and off. These occurrences are usually called a haunting or classed as poltergeist activity, but that is not always the answer. Throughout my book, I will outline reasonable explanations for all these strange happenings taking place. Many recorded events of poltergeist activity can usually be associated with teenagers. This often occurs when either a male or female reaches puberty. It is then that a frustrated spirit from the lower side of life can cause havoc around these young people. It is the same for many women when they approach the menopause, and for some reason these entities latch on to the unsuspecting individual, frantically try to catch their attention by creating poltergeist activity. Not only can sounds be heard echoing around the house at any time of day, but solid objects have been known to be hurled through the air in the direction of the person involved by an unseen force. Pools of water can mysteriously appear anywhere in the home, or leak through the ceiling where there are no water pipes. Articles that do not belong to anyone in the house can also be found, just waiting to be noticed. Here again, stress can play a big role in the phenomenon outbreak when, with all of the extra pressure created, it succeeds in causing even more grief and anxiety to the people involved, even breaking up marriages. It is quite common for a couple to separate when youngsters reach their teens and when women reach the menopausal stage. This is when many couples blame each other for the problems that arise during these times, but I would suggest that you stop and think of what harm you are causing to one another and your children. It is highly probable that an outside influence, unknown and unseen to you, is creating
Sample complete. Ready to continue?